1 month later. Well, before I knew they actually existed, I would have gone with elven girls in a heartbeat, I said to Pete, as we rode down the elevator to the training area beneath Defiant Keep's workshop. Pete had been insisting all morning that it was time for me to take an official physical assessment for some reason. I couldn't imagine why, but he wouldn't stop nagging at me until I agreed to it. Somewhere along the way, we got into a discussion over our preferences in fantasy women. See, Pete, elves have been a common sexual fantasy for all red-blooded, book-reading youngsters since the days of Tolkien, possibly since the age of the Vikings. They're cool, they're mystical, they're beautiful. They're always half naked, and because they're into nature, they have no personal inhibitions in bed. How is that not ideal? Well, while it's true that dark elven women are known for their sexual aggression and their risque choices in fashion, that hardly makes them ideal romantic partners, Pete said. After all, they still suffer from their species' sadistic urge to dominate or destroy their surroundings. I believe that would make pursuing their affections a very risky endeavour. Well, sometimes a little risk is worth it, right? Probably not in this case, he said. Also, since you are a human, an enemy species the elves despise to the extreme, it is very unlikely that one would ever invite you to join her in sexual congress. And even if one did, Lady Amanda would certainly kill her once she found out about it. And then possibly kill you as well. What? That's double standards. Try telling her that before she roasts you alive. Pete, it's a fantasy, okay? We're not talking about regular circumstances. It's like, I don't know, an X-rated movie. Like, I've got some pieces to drop off, but she doesn't have enough gold coins or whatever the currency is. So I'm like, lady, I'm carrying loads of pizza here. You have to pay for this somehow. So she's like, okay, human, I'll take your loads of pizza, and then I'll take your loads on my face. Sir, you coerce a hungry woman into granting you sexual favours for food? Pete asked me in shock. What? No, never. Gross, I said defensively. No, Pete, that's just my character in the movie wanting payment for his services. The elevator doors opened, allowing us entry to the training hall, a massive area filled with padded flooring, exercise equipment, and dormant training bots. I walked over to my locker and changed into an outfit consisting of some track pants, sneakers, a t-shirt, and a sweatband. Sir, I believe your character may be a sexual predator, P said disapprovingly. How's that? Isn't she the one who made the offer? I asked as I began stretching. It feels like coercion to me. Did he really need to pressure her for payment so readily? He could have dropped the pizza off and let her and the store resolve this issue later. I suppose that's true, I said slowly. And since it's an X-rated feature, Pete continued, he probably approached her while aroused, which counts as harassment. I feel the proper story progression should be her disabling the pizza man, binding him so that he can't escape, and then delivering him to the authorities for proper sentencing. And then she should be rewarded with all of the pizza. Well, Pete, you're tough but you're fair, I said with a perfectly straight face. He delivered pizza, but she delivered justice, Pete said with a nod. Oh, Pete has a body now. Not a big one, he's basically a tiny robotic bluebird wearing a pair of wireframe glasses. He doesn't plan on using this form all that often. He just wanted something that would allow him to speak easily with other people, in case we have company over. It'll also serve him as an escape option, to avoid any embarrassing situations like what we experienced with Amanda. No more unintentional threesomes. Well, elven ladies have lost their appeal for me anyhow, I said. I guess I'll just stick with my old tried-and-true standby, the Vulcans. From Star Trek, aren't they known for their rigidity and stoicism? They don't seem like they would be a pleasurable encounter at all. Nah, Vulcan chicks embrace logic, not stoicism. They still let themselves feel emotions, they just don't let it distract from their ability to think, I said. So that means Vulcan women have all kinds of deep, roiling feelings boiling at their core, waiting for that moment of sweet release. See, they're in control of themselves all the time, Pete, so those moments in bed when they aren't will be absolutely mind-blowing. I see. Still waters run deep. Exactly, I agreed. I walked to the center of the room and took a few deep breaths to prepare myself for the test. I was trying to still my random thoughts, get little of that Vulcan, non-emotional state of mind going for myself, you know. Just when I felt like I was prepared, a chipper voice called out to me. Good morning, Mr. Matthew, said a training bot, holding a dust mop. Morning, Mac. How's tricks? I asked the spindly automaton in reply. Silly Fortnite. Tricks are for kids, Mac responded. Ugh, every damn time. That was our morning routine in a nutshell. Now, don't get me wrong. Pete is great company, but Defiance Keep is a big place, and it's getting bigger every day. Sometimes a fella needs to feel like he's living in a community. We built ourselves a manufacturing hub to take care of our lesser needs, now that all the principal designs have been created and finished. I'd expanded the walls surrounding the main building nearly 2 miles in each direction to free up more land. Thanks to that, we built additions to the keep, allowing for housing lots of guests and hosting important gatherings. Pete insisted we were going to need to start doing that soon. We also had an airfield, a massive garage for storing all our various vehicles, and an armory as well. Our airspace was filled with hundreds of drones coming and going, doing who knew what. But my personal touch had been the addition of all the side characters. Robotic figures who serve no purpose other than providing background noise and making the place feel a little more alive and lived in. Like Mac. Mac had been one of the initial designs and possessed a limited vocabulary. It was also, basically, a metal box with stick arms and legs, who liked using a dust mop. I thought he was great, but Pete couldn't stand the sight of him. Pete had improved immensely on his designs and created NPCs so lifelike, they could almost fool you into thinking they were real. We had servants, cooks and waiters, animal wranglers, all sorts. Looking at Max scuttling around with his dust mop and his handful of lines made Pete feel embarrassed. Like a master painter looking at his childhood sketchbook, I guess. "Hey there, Mr. Pete. Looks like there's going to be some rain today," Max said cheerfully to the bird. "Our weather observation satellite detected nothing of the sort, you imbecile," Pete said coldly. "Ha ha ha! Good old Mr. Pete. Well, time to do some mopping," Max said. Then he walked to the side of the room and sat down. "Let me recycle him," Pete said urgently. "No, I like him." "I ask for so little. Let me have this." "Mac's a fun character. You like him better if you just put a little effort into it," I said admonishingly. "I'll like him best of all when he's scrapped," Pete vowed. "Pete, for God's sake. Research Westworld, circa 2016 on HBO. Watch every episode, please." "Why?" "Because I want you to see what happens when you're mean to the help." Proficiency exam, Matthew Sky. Rank, Knight in Scepter Minor. "Cut you, man. I'm going to cut you." The training bot came at me with a dagger, slashing at my throat, which I danced back to evade. Before he could use it again, I lunged forward and struck his throat with a side elbow. Then I pulled my elbow back and repeatedly smashed it into his face, finishing it by smashing my foot into his torso with a side thrust kick. "Severe soft tissue damage detected in nose and throat. Damage assessment lethal," it said. Then it collapsed and lay still. "Bastard, I will kill you, bastard," said another droid calmly. "I will avenge my brother, die, another one began to say, before I summoned a pistol and quickly shot it in the knee before it could close in on me. I then put another round through the first attacker's head before it had time to react, knocking it on its back where it flopped and shivered. "Headshot registered, damage assessment lethal," said the one who'd called me a bastard. The one whose knee I'd taken out was a lot more vocal about things. "Do it. Fucking do it. I am not scared. Bitch. Fuck you. Fuck your mum. I'm your dad. I'm your dad because I fucked your mum. You're a terrible son. Headshot registered. Damage assessment lethal." It went on like that for a while, and it was exhausting. I not only had to pick the right weapon for each scenario I found myself in, I had to fight against training bots who were specifically tailored to provide as much challenge as I could handle. The hardest parts of me were the scenarios where I couldn't just shoot or slash my way through. "Don't make me kill this kid," the last training bot said, as it twitched nervously and held a gun against the head of a smaller training bot. "Mister, he's going to kill me. Am I going to meet Jesus?" the kid bot asked. Man, I really needed to talk with Pete honestly about his writing. He always tries to make things so dramatic. Shut up, stop talking," said the twitching bot. Was he supposed to be on drugs? "Come on, man, don't do this. You've got your whole life ahead of you," I said sympathetically to him. I was supposed to try talking him down if I could. Knowing how to de-escalate a stressful situation was a very useful skill that would surely serve me well in the future. But honestly, if I ever saw a guy threatening a child with a weapon, I'm not so sure I'd be willing to talk things out with him. Still, for the sake of Pete's exam, I put in the effort. Until the joke started mouthing off, that was. "Is that a joke? It's not funny. Fuck you, pig," he said. Well, fuck you then, I'm just trying to help, I said with a frown. Kill you, man. Kill this kid. I'm not. Going back inside. Kill all of you. Seriously, what was with this dialogue? Take my soul, Lord. Tonight I awaken in paradise, the kid said fervently. Oh, for God's sake, I groaned. And then I shot the hostage taker in the face. I'm alive, he loves me, the Lord really loves me, the kid bot said excitedly. I let that go on for about 20 seconds, and then I shot him too. Sir Matthew, Pete said angrily. Pete took these assessments very seriously, but I just couldn't take that dialogue anymore. I really couldn't. It didn't count. The assessment was over anyway, I said to him. What's my score? Proficiency exam, Matthew Sky. Rank, Knight in Scepter Minor. Unarmed, 3 out of 5. Melee, 4.5 out of 5. Ranged, 5 out of 5. Total score, 12.5 out of 15. Rank, B-. Oh, bullshit, I yelled. That is complete bullshit. Pete, how did I get a 3 out of 5 on unarmed? I was kicking ass over there. You were docked 2 points for unnecessary use of lethal force when your opponents were already incapacitated, Pete informed me. Well, duh, Pete, we've been in actual battle part. The whole point of putting someone down is so they don't get back up. I understand, Sir Matthew, but there will soon come a time when killing absolutely everybody will not be required. Your growing level of skill necessitates that you also show some occasional mercy. As the sole representatives of our order on Tremvenium, we should not let the native populations believe that a Forge Knight is a killer first and foremost. Bah, I grunted. Well then, what about that 4.5? What's with that? Buddy, they didn't touch me. I was very slick with that claymore. I'm afraid I had to deduct 0.5 from your score due to your improper stance, Pete said sadly. Due to my what? During several encounters with your sword-wielding opponents, you repeatedly use incorrect footwork. I just couldn't let that slide, Sir Matthew. Form is very important if you wish to become a master swordsman, as is timing. Pete, I beat them all and I didn't take a single hit. You should be giving me bonus points. It was very aesthetically displeasing, Pete fussed. I'm not fighting to look pretty, man. I'm fighting to win. Oh, very well. But I do wish you would try to see it from my perspective, Pete said grudgingly. It ain't ballet, I retorted. And while we're at it, I want back those other 2 points you deducted. You can't just change the rules of engagement in the middle of a fight part. Those were legitimate and justified kills. I must refuse, Sir Matthew. No matter how you try to spin things, those 2 killings would be considered excessive force, Pete said stubbornly. Are you kidding me? I asked him in frustration. Man, I knew Pete was a stickler for the rules, but sometimes his naivety stunned me. Listen, I said to him. Avoiding excessive force is a law enforcement issue. I didn't take any oaths to enforce anyone's laws part. We ain't cops and we shouldn't think like them. For one thing, if there's countless worlds out in the multiverse, that means there's countless laws too. See how quickly trying to think like that can bog us down? But we must respect the customs and beliefs of the people whose worlds we protect. Sure, but only to the extent that it serves our mandate, I insisted. Now, Pete, when I got recruited into this club and given this ring, I was given exactly 5 rules to follow. The mandate of the Order of Forge Knights. 1. Defend humanity. 2. Uphold the peace. 3. Uphold fairness. 4. Uphold equality. 5. Seek no throne. And those rules might seem ironclad to you, but I see a lot of room for personal interpretation there. Killing those 2 targets violated Rule 2, upholding the peace, said Pete. No, killing them ensured that their threat to the peace was permanently ended, thus ensuring more peace, I said. Furthermore, by killing them, I upheld Rules 3 and 4. In what way? Pete scoffed. I'm glad you asked, I scoffed back. It seems to me that I upheld fairness by killing them during their attempts to kill me. It was a fair fight that could have gone either way, right? So why should I be penalised for succeeding where they failed? Furthermore, I upheld equality by treating them no differently than I would any other attempted murderer. I don't care who or what you are, nor where you hail from. If you take a shot at me, I'll do you the same. No fuming in silence. I think you see my point, don't you? I said, laughing. Yeah, you do. Come on, Pete, hand those points over. Fine, but I strenuously disagree with your interpretations of the mandate, Pete said bitterly. And that's fine, Pete, it really is. That's why we're partners. Not just because we work well together, but because we honestly have two differing points of view. You help me see things a little your way, and hopefully I'll do likewise for you. I grabbed a towel off the wall and began wiping the sweat off my face before continuing. But what I think is most important is making sure you don't get stuck thinking there's only one correct path in life, and that anyone who walks differently is doing it wrong. And that's the kind of rigidity that'll break you in half if you can't adjust, pard. Especially regarding rule number 1. What do you mean, sir? Pete asked me. Well, defend humanity. That's vague as hell, isn't it? I asked him. Absolutely not. The Force Knights defend humanity. That is our purpose. Our primary reason for existing, Pete declared proudly. Okay, but what if defending humanity means I have to kill other humans? Well, there are certainly times when humans can fall from the correct path and indulge in regrettable acts. It's unfortunate, but what if one fella gets it into his head that he's the messiah of the next big religion, and anyone who thinks differently needs to burn? Which side do we take, Pete? That of the attempted mass murderer, or the people he's preying on? Obviously we'll defend the people under attack. What if the reason that guy is attacking them is because they were tyrants who viciously oppressed his people, and that the only way he could unite them to fight back was by convincing them he was their godhead? Well, that is... they could... I don't know, Pete finally admitted. What if one planet of humans invaded another? Invasion is an immoral act of expansionism. What if the invasion was a humanitarian effort to keep the other people from practicing cannibalism on their children? And I don't mean some hypothetical tribal culture, like, what if a relatively modern civilization of people otherwise indistinguishable from any Western nation on Earth with comparative values got invaded because they practiced cannibalism on kids with bad report cards? Sir Matthew, these scenarios are detestable and unlikely, and they seem like word exercises designed to frustrate and confound the person you are conversing with, P said with great annoyance. Right? I asked him. Jesus, I took an ethics course as an elective because I thought I'd get to sleep in. But Professor Winona got my head all wound up, that damn woman. Got me thinking about all kinds of stuff. It's like I'm always trying to tell you, Pete. It's only black and white in outer space. Everywhere else is greyer than English fog. A little while later. Proficiency exam. Matthew Sky. Rank, Knight Inceptor Minor. Unarmed, 6 out of 5. Melee, 5 out of 5. Ranged, 5 out of 5. Total score, 16 out of 15. Rank S. Request promotion to Knight Inceptor Mayor. Promotion granted. Congratulations on your promotion, Sir Matthew. I'm delighted for you, and quite pleased with myself as well, Pete said gleefully. Whoa, I said in surprised delight. You didn't tell me this was an official type thing, pard. I was up for a promotion. Well, I didn't want to make you feel nervous. Honestly, I was all butterflies on your behalf. Let me see that score again, I said. Damn, you bumped me up to an S rank? How did I get a 16 out of 15? Was I just that convincing? Well, just between us, Sir Matthew, I found your reasoning regarding the mandate both logically compelling and somewhat nihilistic and horrifying, so I added a point to your unarmed score proficiency. Your ability to convince others of the righteousness of your deeds, no matter how sadistic they are, as well as your gift at instilling doubts in your opponents and making them question the validity of their beliefs, as well as their own value as living beings, will surely be of use in our future adventures. Huh, I asked him. Man, listening to everything he just said, well, it kind of hoovered the smile right off my dumb face. Man, that assessment of my character actually hurt my feelings a little bit. I didn't say it aloud, though. Pete seemed very happy that I was being promoted, so I didn't want to mess with his mood the way he'd unwittingly messed with mine. But yeah, suddenly my new rank didn't feel quite so great. Thanks, Pete. Thanks. I appreciate it. Shall we go to the cantina to celebrate? No. No, I think I'll go lay down for a bit. I feel tired right now. Oh, well, no worries then, sir. If you feel up to it later. Suddenly, klaxons began sounding throughout the keep, cutting off what Pete was about to say. What the hell is going on, man? I asked him in alarm while I covered my ears. It would appear that our defense network has detected elven biometrics within 32 kilometers of Defiance Keep, Sir Matthew. What? Pete, put that in American, please. Just a little over 20 miles away, sir, Pete informed me. How many? A lot. Okay then, I said decisively. Let me get dressed and then we'll head to the situation room. Sir, I don't believe we actually have a situation room at the moment. I don't recall constructing one. Well, we have a lounge with a recliner in it and a big monitor, don't we? Warm up the railgun and some popcorn. I feel like watching a show, don't you? Maybe seeing a few elves get annihilated might make me feel a little better about myself.